I started out in music. You know, I had no idea I'd ever be an actor. And I was in a band from the time I was 11 or 12, and songwriting was always a big thing to me. And as an actor who was a musician first, you still live with that monkey on your back the rest of your life. I came to LA to be a musician and ended up in an acting class with a friend of mine, and next thing you know, you're playing Thug Number 3 on Matlock.
How would you describe your music? And I'm keeping in mind that it's always a little uncomfortable to ask an artist about his or her work. But your music has been described by some as roadhouse rowdy, psychobilly, unique mixture of British rock, but with a lot of other genres. Does that about say it?
Yeah, that says it in a broad sense, yes. It's, you know, some people have said we live in the world. I mean, never near as good as these guys were, but sort of Tom Petty-ish. But where that comes from is it's kids who grew up in the same era, who loved the British invasion, who also loved the Southern California music of the late 60s.
To whom were you listening? The Beatles, the Byrds, Johnny Cash? To whom were you listening?
My thing was Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, is all the Sun Records stuff. Right. You know, early Charlie Rich, that kind of thing. And when the Beatles came along and I saw them on Ed Sullivan, like everybody else, it changed my life. And we all wanted to be the Beatles. The problem was that every band in town wanted to be the Beatles, so we decided my first band, we were going to be the Dave Clark Five. So we played a lot of Dave Clark Five songs. And then I branched out in a way that it set me on a path of listening to almost everything. My favorite band of all time next to the Beatles is the Allman Brothers. That I can say.
Well, let's talk about that. Favorite band of all time, excepting the Beatles, the Allman Brothers. Why is that?
They did something that nobody else ever did, which was you got these Southern guys who are playing something that people automatically say, oh, they were Southern rock, and they so weren't. They had elements of country, mainly coming from Dickie Betts, blues coming from Dwayne and Greg, a couple of guys who could be jazz drummers, and all of them had jazz in them. They had progressive rock, jazz, country, soul, blues. The Allman Brothers' influences and their abilities, better than anybody ever, all came together to make a unique sound that nobody else had.
Well, now, in addition to your acting work, you're on the road, you're touring, you have a new album coming out. Is that what you're trying to do? Ever trying to create something absolutely and without question unique, as the Allman Brothers did?
Absolutely. When I saw the Beatles on TV the first time, I knew that the bar, I knew it then, and maybe not consciously. Later I came to know it consciously. But when the Beatles came out, I knew that the bar had been set so high for my generation that we'd never reach it. And when I heard the Allman Brothers, I knew I'd never be able to do that. So, I think when I saw Spencer Tracy and Humphrey Bogart and Frederick March, one of my favorite actors of all time, and Montgomery Clift, I think when I saw movies finally, because I came to them late, maybe it was because of maturity, I don't know what, but I looked at them and watched what they did, and I thought, I'm never going to be that either. I can never be that great, but I think I can get close. I knew I could never get close to the Beatles or the Allman Brothers, and that's what I'm still trying to do. As an actor, a writer, a musician, any of it. Reaching for something that I know I'll never achieve.
That's your polar star, your navigational star.
Yeah. And like I said, I know I'll never do it. I wanted to be, from an early age, something that I always knew I would never be. And I think it's what keeps me doing it.